Hello, welcome back to video 2 of Music Basics. Today we're going to learn about the bass clef. In our previous video, we learned about the treble clef, also the staff and musical notes. We didn't define the musical notes quite yet, but I introduced you to them. So if you want to go to that video, you can just click on the link below. Let's get started. So when people talk to each other, they are communicating, right? And they use sounds to communicate. We call these sounds words. These words that are sounds can be written down, and we, particularly in the West, use letters to write down these sounds that we call words. Now, our letters are phonetic. So that means that for every letter, there is a sound. There are languages in which the whole word or the whole sound of the word is already embedded in only one symbol. So when we play music, we communicate also with sounds, but not with words. And music, like I said in the previous video, there is content to music. It's difficult to articulate, and everybody can have their own interpretation of what is being said with the sounds. It's more of a feeling rather than something mental or clearly stated. Musical sounds that are not words can be written too. We covered that in the last video, and we use musical notes instead of letters. And just like our alphabet letters, each one of the musical notes represents a sound. We talked about pitch. Pitch is how high or low a note is. So go to the first video if you want to know more about that. And here's what we use to write down musical sounds. Do you remember what that is? Yes, musical notes, not letters, right? We use musical notes in order to write musical sounds. And what is pitch again? Right, it's how high or low a sound is. Quite simple. Now, in order to write music, we need three components, which I covered in the last video: a staff, a clef, and musical notes. I'm going to show you today the clef that is for the lower pitch notes. So the staff, just a quick review, is five parallel lines that with a clef show the pitch of musical notes. And it has four spaces. So the spaces are between the lines. So between each parallel line, there's a space, and you can write notes in there as well. There are four clefs that we covered in the last video. The third and fourth clefs are really the same one, but it moves around. And depending on where you place it, can be named differently, such as the alto or tenor. The treble and bass clef are the ones that we're going to concern with ourselves with the most because they're the most widely used. Musical notes are symbols representing a sound or tone with pitch and rhythm. So they represent the sound pitch when they are placed up high or down low on the staff, and the rhythm is represented by the combination of different notes which have different length durations. As you can see on the left, you have a note that looks like just a circle. That's called a whole note. Then you have the half note, which is the one that is empty but has a stem. Then you have the one that's next to it, which is the most common one that people see. That one and the one to the right, so with the little flag, those are the quarter note and the eighth notes. They all last different lengths. They have different durations. So we're going to talk about that in a later video. So what are the three components needed to write down music? Yes, a staff, a clef, and musical notes. What is a staff? A staff is five parallel lines that with a clef show the pitch of musical notes. And how many spaces are there in the staff? Do you remember? We have five lines. Yes, there are four spaces in the staff. And what is a clef, or what does it do? Well, a clef is a sign placed at the beginning of the musical staff, or those five lines, also called pentagram, by the way. and it determines the pitch of the notes. And what are the musical notes? These are our symbols that represent the tones with pitch and rhythm. Once you place them on the staff, of course. So before writing our notes on a musical staff, you're going to need to know if the sounds we're writing are high pitched or low pitched, and the clef will tell you how high or low the notes are going to be. So with the treble clef, which we covered in the last video, we're going to look at middle to high pitch notes. Here, of all these four types of treble clefs that we're going to use, sorry, all of these clefs that we're going to use, the most common are the treble and bass clef. Okay, so we're going to be working with that. In order to write middle to low pitch sounds, so that's from middle C all the way down, we use a symbol called the bass clef, also known as the F clef, because it literally is the letter. It's a nice cursive F. If you notice those two dots, those are the lines that we would usually place on our F. Okay, when you place the bass clef on the staff, it means we will be writing middle to low pitch range sounds. Just like when you place the treble clef, it means middle to high pitch range sounds. So, what does a clef do on a musical staff again? Let's see. Correct. It tells the pitch range of the sounds. How many clefs are there? Or how many did we cover today? There are four types of clef. Two of those are really the same one in a different place of the staff, which is the C clef, by the way. And why is the bass clef also known as the F clef? Yes, it is literally the letter F written in cursive. And by the way, you'll notice that the line that runs through those two dots of the F clef is also the F line. When you use the bass clef, what is the pitch range? Correct. Middle to low pitch range. Bass clef. So it's going to play the bass notes. Okay, let's learn how to draw a bass clef first. If you're going to be writing music and learning about music, you're probably going to need to write it. Also, it's kind of cool to just practice it, right? Okay, let's get started. Just like we did before with the treble clef, go ahead and number from 1 to 5 or mentally number them from 1 to 5 or follow along in this kind of logic um, from the bottom to the top. So you're going to start by drawing a little dot or circle on the fourth line, and you're going to go up to the fifth line in a curve and come all the way back down. Now, the way I made it on the slide is not very pretty, but it represents normal handwriting. Then you're going to have a note, sorry, not a note, a dot above the fourth line, which is highlighted in green, and then another one below it. Now that green line, that green line that you see here is going to be the F note. Anytime you place a note on that, that's the F note. So the letter F is literally indicating to you where the F line is. All right. Your handwritten bass clef will get better with time. Trust me, it will. Everything gets better with time, a little bit at a time, right? Now go ahead, draw 10 or more bass clefs on your music staff. See how they come out. But remember, when you write down music, you only write one clef per staff, and you do it all the way at the left. All right. I'll wait to see you in the next video. Have a great rest of your day.